Some people spend their whole lives fixing broken things, without realizing they've forgotten how to fix themselves. Stephen Reed was 58 when that truth caught up to him. For 30 years, he built cabinets, tables, and wooden keepsakes in a small workshop behind his home. People said he had a gift. His hands could turn plain timber into something that felt alive. But somewhere along the line, Stephen stopped believing he had any gift left at all. His joints ached, his eyesight blurred, orders slowed. Clients drifted to younger carpenters with flashier designs and faster tools. Stephen still worked every day, but not with pride, only out of habit, like a man trying to outrun the fear that he no longer mattered. What he lacked, though he didn't know how to name it, was self-worth, the quiet kind that erodes slowly, like a shoreline fading grain by grain. One late autumn afternoon, the light in the workshop dimmed early. Stephen was sanding the edge of an old rocking chair he'd been repairing for weeks. His hands shook more than usual. Frustration rose in him like heat. He pressed harder on the wood, too hard, and the chair legs snapped. The sound echoed through the room, a sharp, splintering crack that felt like it broke something inside him too. Stephen dropped into a chair, rubbing his temples. Maybe this was the moment he had been avoiding. Maybe he was finally done. Too slow, too old, too unnecessary. Just then, he heard small footsteps on the gravel outside. A soft knock followed. A young woman stepped in, breathless from the cold. She held a wooden music box, delicate, chipped, clearly old. "Are you Stephen Reed?" she asked gently. Her voice wasn't demanding. It carried something else. Hope. "I heard you're the one who can fix things. No one else can." Stephen almost laughed at the irony, but something in her eyes kept him silent. She placed the music box on the table. "It belonged to my father," she said. "He used to wind it every night when I was little. It hasn't played in 15 years. Would you try, just try, to bring it back?" Stephen touched the box lightly. The wood was worn thin, the hinge rusted, one corner broken. It looked beyond saving, which he realized was exactly how he felt about himself. But he nodded anyway. The woman smiled with relief, a smile so warm it softened something in Stephen's chest. "I knew you'd say yes," she whispered, then left him with the fading scent of winter and gratitude. Stephen spent the night studying the music box. He worked slowly, carefully, his hands remembering movements his mind had forgotten. Sanding, gluing, polishing, restoring the tiny gears with patient precision. Hours passed. The workshop grew silent except for the soft rasp of sandpaper and Stephen's quiet breathing. Near dawn, he tightened the final screw. His heart beat faster than it had in months. He wound the key. For a moment, nothing. Then a single note rang out, soft, pure, followed by another, then another. The music box played its melody in full, clear, nostalgic, alive. Stephen closed his eyes, and something he hadn't felt in years moved through him. Proof that he was still capable, still needed, still someone who could bring life back into what the world had forgotten. Later that morning, the young woman returned. When she heard the music, her hands trembled. Tears slipped down her cheeks. "I thought it was gone forever," she whispered. "It just needed time," Stephen replied. He wasn't sure if he meant the music box or himself. Word spread, not loudly, not quickly, but quietly, like warm light spilling through cracks. Soon people arrived at Stephen's workshop again, bringing broken keepsakes, cherished mementos, things precious not for their value but for their memories. Stephen fixed each one with new steadiness in his hands and new worth in his heart. He realized something profound. He hadn't lost his gift. He had simply forgotten to see it. Sometimes the world won't remind you of your value. Sometimes you must rediscover it in the quiet moments, in the things you mend, the people you help, the strength you rebuild inside yourself. Broken doesn't mean finished. It only means waiting for someone brave enough to begin again. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to remember their worth.